GP3 here with the Cortez Shows. Hey, I just kind of got led to do this. This is a kind of a new thing for me where I'm going to be getting downloads and information, and I'm going to be sharing it with you as I'm getting it. Over the last week specifically, as we've transitioned into February, been an interesting time. We've got a lot happening right now, and I'm sure whoever the star seeds are that are hearing me right now, you've been feeling it. So I want to speak into that electrical current to send love, grace, mercy, understanding, patience, peace within, okay? Yeah, these are the things that are coming up right now. While the whole system is crumbling, we're going into a very unique time, and I think it's part of what we're all supposed to experience as we go through the Buddha rooms. Yeah, these are the rooms within ourself and outside of ourself, as above, so below, as within, as without. Some Hermetic teaching that I got on my soul searching channel was brought in specifically so that we could get to the place where we would be able to be so coherent with ourselves and with the awareness of the things that we needed to work on, so we could pull those things out and prepare ourselves even more. Remember, the Edgar Casey went into the January and February timeline information about what's happening right now this month. And this is big stuff. This is the big stuff for you, okay? I don't know, I'm feeling it right now. I'm getting the rush, so I think I'm on track with about what I'm ready to give you. January was the last part of the purification process we could go through to go ahead and clean up that inner stuff, look back at the family line, look back at the journey of the self and figure out, hey, you know, is there something that I needed to do that would get me even more coherent in the heart sector? Something that needed to be cleared up. So as we looked through that and we did that and we purged that, we realized, oh my gosh, I am definitely getting ready for something. Now, some of you might have experienced something over the last 5 days specifically, because as we transitioned from the 31st to the 1st, here we are now in the full moons. And this is a big thing because this always has to do with intention setting for the new path that we're going to be moving on, right? So I wanted to be able to drop in what I got because it was intense. And I want to tell you with a lot of love, don't be fearful about this timeline and don't let others put fear on you. Move them out. Learn to be a better communicator to reset those boundaries right now, please. Because by you saying, nope, you're not going to be allowed to lie to me. Nope, you're not going to. That is a lie, or that is not true. And so we're not doing that. I'm going to do me and do this. You're going to make better adjustments in this program. I know that's not something that really the system wants to hear, but this is what you are, all right? And so we want to get to that highest self you, and now is the time. So we're not going to allow nudging systems to be moving us around anymore. We're standing in our own sovereign disposition, especially as we go into the 0 point Aries timeline, all right? Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what happened. Well, okay, first of all, I just want to let you know that I have been up on Lake Superior doing land clearings, and I recently, over the last month and a half, did a witch tree clearing. And at this location, this was a location that I found out that my grandmother's family, her mother and her family all the way up north, going up, I think Inuit, dropped down and they would stop at the specific witch tree on Lake Superior. And then they made their way down into Michigan, where I'm actually from. I've traveled around the world, but I am just a good old Michigan boy, okay? So here we are. I'm doing this clearing. I do this witch. They're always trying to mess with me right at that right time. Okay, so it's 0 degrees right now on the water, and I am being introduced to this witch tree, which I knew had an entity that only 2 weeks before I cleared off the property. And by doing the clearing, we're not binding these things. We're releasing these things with understanding. It had a lot of pain and it got stuck there. It was very threatening energy, but I cleared it. I have my ways, and I may be able to go into that a little more on soul searching coming back online again here soon. But here I am, and by the way, I'm sneaking in the hot tacos right now while Cortez is in the back making great love taco, okay? So I do the clearing, and it feels like it's probably the most liminal space that I've ever felt in this kind of situation. Lake Superior, these are deep, deep, big waters, okay? And I did the honoring that I could do for the native family that had been really up there, really taking care and governing the land, if you will. Well, this particular location needed to be cleared. And so I cleared it, and then I was guided, hey, you're going to come back and do a offering. And so about 2 weeks later, I would come back, do the offering, and all of a sudden, okay, first of all, I'm bawling for a half an hour while I restore honor, integrity, and dignity back to the witch tree that had been a landing location for my family from previous lives. Yes. And so by doing that clearing and doing that offering, I was resetting both myself and the land at the water's edge, right at the crux of the biscuit. Okay, so this was really neat. Now, do the land clearing, and then for about 1 month, I start going through massive changes. Massive shifting is happening all around me. People are not acting in the greatest integrity and the greatest honor. I have to confront several things about boundaries. And I realized actually after doing some Buddha research on going through the rooms, the celestial rooms, that I was doing something within me. And I feel maybe some of you starseeds out there are feeling the same thing too, that really it's not an exterior vision of that which is going on within us. Okay, so I had been, over the course of a very long journey, been a lover, and I opened up my space wide open to things and people that really I shouldn't maybe have done that. Well, I learned lessons about resetting boundaries. Even Aries has to reset his boundaries. Here we are learning right before we go into this big movement, okay? 0 point Aries coming up this March, friends, okay? But more importantly, let's get to February 17th first, right? Okay. So I do the clearing, a lot of things starts happening, and I do ring the bell, and it keeps ringing for me. Well, go through a set of losses. They're not losses, they're actually gains. I go through a set of preparations and internal workings that needed to be cleared, and got through all of that through the December tunnel timeline, if you know what I mean. Those out there that might have been following little Pam Gregory out there, we were going through a November-December tunnel, and I was resonating so much with what she was saying, okay? Even putting out soul-searching shows up until I got downloaded. Nope, you gotta go back to the Cortez Shows. So went back to the Cortez Shows, had the wonderful Mr. R. Wayne Steiger on my show. I'm gonna be having some great guests coming up, friends. You're really excited, especially in light of the information that Cortez just dropped on the fallen watchers. I know. And Greenland. You guys are getting slammed right now with some good stuff, okay? All right. So here we are. I do the cleaning, now I'm in a purification process, and I'm having a lot of interesting energy comes up on Superior, and I'm convinced it's a combination of sonic weaponry mixing with land movement, mixing with the granite, mixing with the water, so high piezo electricity. But in the high piezo, I'm very sensitive to this. I've been a musician my whole life, all right? I play 5 instruments. I've toured on 2. And so I'm very used to sound, audio clair, and also I've got like 3 clairs going on in my life, all right? So look that up, clairvoyancy at multiple angles, all right? So I'm getting to now the end of January, and all of a sudden, one night I have, this is like only 2 nights ago, I have an encounter with Leviathan energy, and I would ask that you would go do your own research on the term, what is Leviathan? And maybe do a deep study on this, because this is coming up for everybody, and there's a reason for it. Some of the lighting, things that have been happening with the sun. I don't know if you've seen Mr. MRBBB and maybe some of the other CME graphs that are showing actually a black a black cloud-like icky thing that has arms and tentacles. Have you seen that? Yeah. Okay. Well, that's actually happening right now, and simultaneously we're getting hit with the same mirrorization right here, right now. So what comes up for me was Leviathan, and let me tell you, it was about 2 in the morning when this creepy energy tried to literally crawl up my leg. And I'm like, no. So I went into warfare. I am, gosh, a 20-year Pentecostal charismatic director of worship. I have traveled all around Southern California, and primarily with Azusa Street Revival people and Tetelestai and some other ones that have brought me into some deep, deep soaking, healing worship action. And I've taken that with me on my journey as I've journeyed out into the world, if you will, as the feet and the hands of Isa, which is really also just the source within me in a heart coherence. I've had to hold that heart coherence. So when this thing started crawling up my leg, I woke up, I saw an image of it, and it was a black creature, but like an energy creature with tentacles. And it was crawling up, and I went immediately into warfare, pulled it off, commanded it on what I asked, commanded it to do, to leave. And I also began calling in legions of angels and also my cosmic cousins energetically. Everybody, all of my team was being called in for this one, all right? So, all right, here I am now dealing with Leviathan. It took about, this started at about 4 a.m., so the witching hour, if you will, and it didn't end till about 5:20, okay? So it lasted about an hour and 15 minutes, and then it started to cool down, and then I nailed it, cleared it, and moved it on. Well, I've noticed since then even differences in people in the area since I've done this clearing, okay? So, all right, 2 nights ago, Leviathan, warfare, and then since then, the energy has been zinging. Like I am talking like the highest pitch whine. My glasses are like going crazy. The highest pitch whine I've ever seen, okay? And or heard and felt. And it's been very difficult. It feels like a very testing energy where my whole body and mind and spirit structure is being completely tested, which can be a good thing, indeed, because these things must be tested to ensure that you're in your whole form. So if you're feeling that right now, just do not take this as a negative, but you do need to know what to do about how to address these energies, all right? And maybe we can get a little more into that. If you like, subscribe, and follow, and put a comment in there, say, yeah, GP3, go into some of the warfare techniques that you work with to ensure that you're keeping your empathic and your circulatory and your nervous system and all these things clear, all right? And also, I've been fasting now for about the last week and a half, all right? I've been doing 3-day fasts with a minor meal between, and then another 3-day, and then another 3-day, okay? I am in sobriety. There is no alchemies involved in my life. I left that really about, I actually started dovetailing about 2 years, well, actually about 5 years ago. I was guided, you're going to move away from alcohol. I was like, fine. You're going to move away from this. You're going to move away from that. All the way even down to the simple things of even like mushrooms. Yeah, because there was a time in a season where those were playing a part of me keeping my heart chakra open. And I have moved the best in wholeness with the heart chakra open. So, all right, these are just things you can do. I'd love to talk about them if you wanted to, all right? But here I am now, a year later, and no alchemies, no nothing, just water, clean water, okay? And really healthy foods, all right? Sticking with organic. And do check on whether it's really organic, all right? Okay, back to the whole thing. Now, it's 2 days ago, dealing with Leviathan, and then a night after that, high zinging energy. And I know that we're going into the full moon activation last night. This was intense. So I'm feeling it. Now all of a sudden I'm being activated, and I'm like, guides are saying, nope, go out and do your ceremony right now. So last night I step out and I do a good, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes of communication and declaration and point setting and remapping where I will go and what I will be doing. And the guides are dropping in the info as I'm kind of speaking these things out, and they're attuned, they're aligned with the heart coherence. So you kind of, you know that you're in a motion of the turbine that you're supposed to be in. And then, oh, okay. So we get through the declaration, and then I wake up this morning and I am having the weirdest dream. Okay, the one thing I wanted to get to is while we're right now going into this timeline, you might have seen, again, I want to go back, man, like we are at an apex timeline, and my guides have been saying 6 months. Okay, friends, 6 months. Now, 6 months to me means 6 months and it's over. Okay, and I'm not fear-mongering that. I just want to put that out to you. Be your own guide. Listen to your own guides on where you need to be, what you need to be doing, and how you need to be handling your life. The most important thing right now is who are you connected with? Who are you around that maybe you need to move on? It's time to move on in maturity to get to the group of people that you're supposed to be with for this final phase, okay? I'm talking about final phase movement here, friends, all right? So you really want to make that choice knowingly. So maybe you need to fast. Maybe you need to, make some changes in your life to get there. All right. So, all right, here we are. We've moved in. The Cortez shows are, I've been banging out shorts because I've got so much material that's relevant right now and probably will be relevant for the next year openly. But I'm going to be bouncing between shows and I want to make sure that I'm giving you guys the best info as I can. Okay, so here we are. The declarations are made, full moon's out, and boom, a light over Superior goes flash. Yep, Cosmic Cousins, they're my team. And yeah, I'm Pleiadian ascendant, descendant aspects, okay? I could go into more than that later, but they communicated with me in 2012 when I saw their Los Angeles-sized craft sitting above the Los Angeles crest line on the way to Big Bear to go snowboarding. And I love pounding it. And yeah, I'm driving up the highway. If anybody knows that highway, you got to go up the outside edge of the mountains. You do zigzag to get up into the mountains. You drop in right at the time that I was on my last turn looking up the northern section of the Los Angeles crest. I see a Los Angeles-sized spacecraft, okay? It's hovering there. I look at it and I'm looking and I go, what? And it says, the voice in me says, turn and look away. And this is because the voice wants me to validate what I'm looking at. Is this real? Is this really something I'm seeing? I turn away and I look away, and then the second time I look, it's still there. And now I can see the 0-point energy field going around the craft. So cool. All right. The voice says again, turn and look away a third time. Boom. I turn and look away. And as soon as I look the third time, 3 is a magic number, friends, 369. They say to me, Pleiadian. Boom, I now know I've had my first contact. I'm actually going on second contact now. And I'm really excited because I've been trusted to have this contact. I have kept the heart open, the heart clear in the Christ consciousness within me. Yes, we will use that term. Christ consciousness within and without. Yes, it is the person you know as Isa, Jesus. Yes, and it is also Buddha, Rama, Krishna. These each ones were giving information to allow us to grow and mature so that all these chakras would come online and we'd be able to take a proper account of it all the way up to the crown chakra release, third eye expansion, crown chakra release, boom, okay, enlightened one, all right. Well, that happened in 1992 for me, but in 2012 when this was happening, this was a big deal for my life, okay. So here we are now, January 31st to the 1st. I go out, do my full moon declaration. I'm doing some candle intentions, light a white candle, do some intentions there, setting it, basically reaffirming and speaking the path that I'm going to be taking, I will be taking and am taking, that's right, to achieve going to where I'm going, because the guides have already told me what's ahead of me as I keep moving. And so they've already, and I'm going to use a Pam Gregory in here, you need to see 6 inches past the board. If you know karate, you will understand what I'm talking about. You don't look at the board you're going to hit, you look 6 inches past it. That's where your destination is. So, boom, karate chop. I went in and I saw where I need to go, and I've been putting that into place every step of the way to not be distracted, because right now, any NPCs, any disincarnate ones, and any energies of the system would and will try to stop you from moving to your teleological destination that was preset. Okay, I remember before I jumped in here, I remember the conversation with the angelic in the realm of the guides that I was having about mapping out my life. They said to me that basically by showing me the map, they said, well, if you keep making your map points, you'll make it all the way. And I did. Have you? Have you done that today? Have you made it to your map points? Are you wondering what your map points are? It's time to find out, friends. Okay, you need to actually start lessening yourself with the cares of the world. Stop giving it attention and just simply drop into self. Ask questions that have meaning and matter for you in your life. Then you get your own answer. You can stand in your own sovereign movement. You will answer to no one but yourself in the end, okay? There is no judgment at the end, friends. No, that is a lie and a falsehood that was impregnated by the Constantine timeline of the Nicene Council as a control system for you, okay? You will maybe meet the hybrids, which guess what? Hi, we're all hybrids, okay? We're all hybrids. We all are genetic makeups of a lot of generational matter and material, okay? And consciousness in a body is only one part of the trip, okay? So make the declarations on the full moon. You've got actually a couple more nights to do this, all right? Last night was a hot night, but if you just get out tonight and make a declaration about who you are and where you're going and the truth of who you are, not some conjured up idea, not, and maybe there is some cleanup that needs to happen. Have you been lying? Well, just accept that you got dropped into a system that was already lying to you. How else would you know? Well, you'd have to see it and go, this is despicable. And then love would say, yeah, but we made you perfect. We made you wonderful. Yep, you're perfect and wonderfully made before you even dropped in. Why were you giving so much attention to shame guilt systems? Well, the family units have been debacled. That's correct, because that's not the love of Jesus that he was talking about. No, it's not. So we're on here trying to bring this information out. This is the last little bit of time as we go into this 6-month process. We've got a couple big hitters, February 17th. We got March 20th, 21st, and just after that as well. Okay, and then we're gonna go to June. June's gonna be a big one, friends. Yes, I know. But we wanna prepare everybody the best that we can, okay? So, on the full moon activation, let's get back into ourselves. Stop playing games with the system. If you've been caught tabling people up and gaming them, I want you to pull back right now. Stop doing that right now. That you are actually more and greater than that. And also, you will be called out, especially if you're a star seed and you got caught up in it. Okay, money is not the main thing that we're dealing with here as an issue on this planet right now. We're dealing with souls. Do you know that this whole system could collapse right now and it would all only be about souls and spirit? Yeah, did you know that? Okay, well, all right, I didn't want to make this a long one. This was a short one just to let you know that Leviathan energy has been trying to recuckle people, okay, and recuckle circumstances. Remember, NPCs don't remember yesterday. They don't remember the day before. They barely remember what happened they don't even remember actually age 7 and before. Ask them if you want to ask some people some hard questions, ask them a couple of ones. What's your blood type? What's your, what starseed race group you're part of? And then also, do you remember anything before the age of 7? If they don't, it's best to move on. It really is. There's a reason for that, friends. And we have guides that are coming in right now to assist with this awareness and understanding. So let all my words be tested unto you. Let your heart be open. Let your spirit be free. Let you know that love is filtering and funneling even right now in through this channel. You have been given everything that you need within you to be awakened and aware, and you are trusted with that information, okay? Let your authority stand in your own rightness. That's correct. And trust and believe and have faith. It's more than hoping, all right? Belief is more than hoping. You want to believe in yourself and believe in the fact that you are lovely and perfectly and wonderfully made, but unto source, and your actions should follow that suit, okay? As we go into this February full moon night again, please make these intentions sound and true and reasonable, all right? Reasonable unto the guides. If you are in touch with your guides, stick with them. Hear the clear voice and follow that obediently. You will be moved to the proper destinations and locations. If you feel any kind of fiery darts, use your hand, grab a hold of it, spin it, and yank it out and say, return to sender, friends. All right, that's not a free one. That came at a lot of cost, but return to sender is the thing that we're doing now to move that back into their energy court where they don't have any more power or control over the true starseed light that you are. Okay, you're with GP3 on the Cortez Shows. While Cortez is making the great love taco, I'm bringing in the hot burritos. All right? Okay, come, say hi. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.